And we're live. Awesome. Thank you all for joining us today. We have an amazing episode today, one that's, I think, going to be very helpful and useful. We've done it many times before, I think, but this is a topic that never grows old because even with the videos and the lives that have been posted recently on YouTube on my channel, folks have been commenting, but this is expensive. This costs money and da 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 da. I mean, yeah, if you feed yourself, it's going to cost money, right? There's no free food unless you're growing it yourself. And even then, you have to buy the seeds. I know me with my hydroponic system, I have to buy the minerals to put in the water, So, growing food costs money. Buying food costs money. Money's going to be spent, okay? So we're going to talk about the budgeting side today. But before we go even deeper, I'm your host, Samantha Salmon, National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, alongside my co-host, the beautiful Dorrell, Hylton, Salmon. Thank you, Mom, for
Hello.
joining. Your hair is so cute.
Thank
I
you.
love it. So recently, the Wall Street Journal published an article about millennials, of which I am one, and their dining habits, okay? So these folks are in their 30s, all right? The Wall Street Journal says, with food prices escalating, more adults are turning to the kids menu as a solution. This one young woman who's actually from my town where I live, Ashley Garrett, she thinks restaurant portions are too big and expensive. Okay. So her idea is instead of having leftovers, because she doesn't like leftovers, and instead of eating out less, because who wants to eat out less, right? She orders kids' meals about 5 times a week. I really didn't plan on laughing, but it's hard to read out loud and not giggle about this. 5 times a week she's eating out. Okay. And apparently she's not alone. Some diners do this because they've had bariatric surgery and can't eat large portions. That is a shocker to me, right? Because if I just were to pause right there, right? You've had bariatric surgery. In order to qualify, you have to be really, have a lot of excess fat to lose. And if you're just focusing on portion, I mean, you could literally drink an ounce of olive oil and get in a ton of calories and still be right back in the position to need bariatric surgery. So I think portion size is really like nearsighted. It's like this is a myopic view on nutrition, it's heartbreaking to me because these people are adults, right? They're my age, and this is how they're feeding themselves. And we have an epidemic of chronic disease and obesity in this country, and we really need some education, I think, at the elementary school level on how to feed yourself. I feel like it's a basic, it's the foundational part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, just the thought process these folks are going through. But to continue, so the Wall Street Journal said others, want to lose weight, save money, or just feel like a kid again. That's why they're doing this. Losing weight and saving money, that's what we're going to talk about today, but doing it in a way that is actually nutritious for the body and not detrimental to folks' health. This one woman from Indiana said that she started ordering kids' meals while on GLP-1 medication. You know GLP-1, right, Ma? That's the weight loss drugs.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
To help, and specifically to help with weight loss. So she's ordering from the kids' menu, which typically, from my recollection, has fries, soda, chicken nuggets, right? And she's eating this to lose weight. She found it saved money, especially on vacation where adult fast food can cost $10 to $15, while a kid's meal is around $8 and includes a drink. My recollection, that drink typically includes a soda, right? So the soda itself has so much sugar, which is basically killing your bones, it's killing your brain. And if you're a millennial, you need your brain to make money. And these folks are concerned about money, right? That's the whole reason why they are buying these smaller sizes, but you can't make money if your brain's not working properly, right? Another woman took it a step further, rating her meals on social media based on the calories per dollar ratio. But here's the issue. You can't get enough calories to maintain your weight, but you can get enough calories to maintain your weight, but if the ingredients are low quality, you're damaging your health, right? And then the other downside is the kids' menu lacks variety. We know we need variety in our nutrition, and not just like any variety, right? Because the kids' menu has chicken strips, burgers, grilled cheese sandwiches. I mean, you're talking about a fiber-poor diet, and the gut microbiome needs fiber in order for us to have a healthy body overall, a healthy brain, healthy cardiovascular system, mental health. You know, you talk about how mental health issues are on the rise. I mean, you can't have a healthy brain, healthy mind, eating this type of food, right? It's really destructive to the brain. You're killing blood flow to the brain. You are harming your cardiovascular system. So we need a smarter approach. Portion control is not it. Highly processed foods is not it. So let's break down a better way to do this with balance of cost, health, and convenience, right? So we want all the things, right? So we're going to share some 3 insider secrets, and the insider is sitting right next to me. My mom is the budget queen, and she's not afraid to share that she is. She just knows how to make a dollar stretch, right? Exactly. I'm more of I call myself like a prioritization queen because for me, I think about it as priorities, right? If my budget is this, and I have to eat, so this is the most flexible, right? I'm just going to eliminate the things that don't feed the priorities. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I have to get rid of the gym, I could get rid of the gym and I could take a walk outside. I've saved money there. That can go into my food, right? So I can afford high quality food as long as money's coming in without, and still manage my budget. So I've talked a lot about this, especially in my book, You Can Afford to Be Healthy. I break the whole thing down, what healthy is, how to afford it, and all of that. But today I want my mom to share her tips, right? Where she shops, all the stuff, okay? The tea. We are spilling the tea and it's piping hot, okay? Hot. Okay.
Okay. So I go and shop in a vicinity where there is Costco, Whole Food, Trader Joe.
Okay.
When I go to Costco, I go in the produce department. That's where I go. That's where I shop. Mm-hmm. I get my greens there, like I get my carrots, my power green, my salads, my whatever greens you want to think of, and they're all organic. So no prices beat Costco price in produce, as far as I know. So if I go to, let's say I go to, my next biggest shopping is Whole Food, because I do a lot of juicing, and I get the greens that I want to juice and all the other stuff. But if I go to Whole Food and I see the prices in Whole Food is higher than Trader Joe, I just buy what I want to buy at Whole Food and I go into Trader Joe. See, I'm retired, so it's a little different with me than somebody who's still working. But yes, I am a budget shopper, and I try to buy things that is nutritious for my body, and I don't bring in stuff in the house that I know I'm not supposed to eat. Before we started this, I felt a little snackish, like I want something to snack, because I'm a foodie, by the way. I just want everybody to know that I don't have a problem with my appetite, but I try to eat the right stuff, because when you get older, your appetite decreases. It happened to a lot of old people, but I'm not there yet. Because I still love to eat. I love my meals.
Yeah, I think I want to put a pin there, because in the world of plant-based nutrition, on the one hand, I feel like, dang, there's a lot of studies. Why aren't people fully convinced? And we do see a huge surge now. We're at the brink of that tipping point. We're a bit beyond. More and more people are getting wise to the plant-based way of eating, right? But I think in the raw food world, there's a lot of room and opportunity for studies. And what you just said, for anyone out there who has money to finance a study, I think this would be a great study. Like if you eat a high raw lifestyle, which you do, you have a lot of raw foods that you do. It's not exclusive, and you don't have processed foods in there anymore. When you are eating like this in your senior years, do you have the same kind of experiences as folks who are eating a more omnivorous diet where they're losing their appetite, right? And could that loss of appetite, because the appetite is being regulated by hormones by a gland in the brain, right? So the brain is managing all of this. And is that operating differently because of the types of foods that people are eating? You know what I'm saying? So I would be curious to know that. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not there yet, so I can't answer that question because I get to understand it. I spoke to someone yesterday because I tried to reach out to my family that I left behind, Dorrell's their boutique family, because that's what I call them, my family. And I spoke to a lady yesterday. She's 80 years old, and she says she has no appetite. And when she tell me what she eat, I said, "Wow!" But see, I'm not 80 yet.
So my dad is. Have you noticed that his appetite has changed?
He was always a person who does not eat. He's not a foodie. I am. Yeah, but I don't see any changes in his appetite. No, because he's a healthy 80-year-old.
That part.
He's healthy.
Because we already know from the data, even if you're not 80 and you're 30 something, if you're having diet soda with the refined sugar, even if it's something like another type of sugar replacement, monk fruit, stevia, just the sugar itself, it has folks eating more food, right? It's not sufficient. They feel hungrier because what they've eaten is nutrient poor. So they still want more, which is why when folks are having these processed foods and the fast food stuff, they're not really satisfied. They may be doing portion control, but they're not full, And so when you eat fiber, nutrient dense, fiber rich foods, you feel full. And so I feel like there is, with this whole even perception of what senior looks like, with loss of appetite, that's what we've understood historically, because people have been eating a nutrient poor standard American diet. But if you're eating a healthy diet, that may not be what your senior years look like,
Exactly.
So it is worth exploring with a study.
Right. Yeah. So to answer the question about what we were talking about, the budget and so. When you go to fast food, first of all, I used to eat, well, I wasn't a McDonald's eater, but I used to buy fast food like a Burger King. And to me, it's like something you eat before you get home, because by the time you get home, if you're 10 minutes from the house, by the time you get home, you're hungry again.
Yeah.
So I know that thing doesn't sustain you because there's no nutrient, there's nothing in there. So I wouldn't think that if you want a budget, that would be the way to go. No, it's not the way to go.
Yeah.
No, because even if you a child diet, it's still expensive.
I know it's really alluring to people, because when on our way to Whole Foods, we pass a McDonald's and they always have the $5 menu, and you can see it looks like a lot of stuff. Like you get all this food and a drink, right? It looks like a whole 5-course meal, right? For $5. So it's like each thing is not even $1, So it has me thinking, well, you selling chicken and each thing is not even $1. Is that really chicken? Honestly,
no,
because
it's coated though.
It's some, who knows what kind of, because what we know from actual study, they literally did a study comparing plant-based eating to omnivorous eating, and the plant-based diet is more affordable. A whole food vegan diet is more affordable. Actually doing the study, right? Because the fiber is filling you up. And especially more so if you're eating raw foods, because the raw foods have water. The water is filling you up, right? So you're feeling, your stretch receptors are being engaged. You're feeling full. You're feeling satisfied. And yes, it may seem like, okay, an apple is costing more than this bag of chips, but the way you feel after is more satisfactory,
But look
right?
what you get from an apple, though.
Yeah,
You get hydration from it because the apple is really it's water based, right? You get
right,
hydration and it fill you up because it's fiber.
right.
You cannot compare it apple with the chips. It's in no comparison whatsoever.
Right. You get the sweetness, right? So your brain gets what it wants. You have some energy, all of this stuff. And so this is why I call it the expensive myth, because what's really costing people money is, first of all, meat. If you are buying meat, it's expensive. If you're a healthy eater buying meat, it's even more expensive, right? Hormone-free, grass-fed, free range, that stuff comes at a premium. Now, if you're vegan eating processed foods, that stuff is even more expensive. You understand? Right? The tofurkeys and the fake this and the fake that and all this, whatever. From an environmental perspective, you have folks who are like, no, we need to be pushing this and da da da. But from a health perspective,
Right, yeah.
it's too much processing. This is not how food comes from the ground.
Too much different ingredients in there.
Yes. And even when we talk about tofu, because tofu is the big thing, like in the vegan community, soy, right? Soy is supposed to be cancer protective and da da da. But it's not. The soy we're eating in America is not what has been shown to be cancer protective.
Okay.
Right? The Asian community in Asia eating traditional Asian food. First of all, they're eating a variety of different foods. So now you have a variety of plant foods. You have a healthy gut microbiome when you have a variety of different plant foods. They're eating small quantities. Okay. So they're not overeating, right? They have in their culture, it's culturally indoctrinated to eat to 80% satisfaction. In America, we eat to 150, 200% satisfaction. We go overfull. We supersize everything, right?
It's true.
So, and when those Asian people that are eating traditionally, they're having soy fermented and organic. We don't ferment our soy. We're not fermenting all the tofu and stuff like that. There's one tempeh. Tempeh is fermented, but most people are just getting a block of tofu and doing a whole bunch of stuff with the tofu and thinking, oh, I'm fighting breast cancer. Well, the tofu is like 40+% fat. Excess fat is inflammatory, right? This is not like omega-3 fatty acids that you get from avocados and walnuts, right? So it's just kind of like slow your roll on the tofu and the soy situation. If you're going to do soy to be cancer protective, you want to do it the way that it's working for the people who are getting the benefit, right? Which is fermented and organic, right? And, I think all of this stuff works holistically. Plus, we know from science.
Where do you get fermented tofu?
The only one that I know about is tempeh. Tempeh is fermented soy. Maybe I'm blanking on some others, but you can get them, but you have to be strategic. It's just when there's just so much like in the plant-based world, tofu, and I'm like, I mean, do whatever you want, eat whatever you want, but it's
I must admit it, because I don't eat no meat. I don't eat no chicken, tofu and mushrooms, all different type of mushroom that available to me that I can use. I do that. I don't do a lot of tofu because, to be honest with you, my husband don't like it, so I don't do a lot.
Yeah, because the thing is with tofu, especially if you have hormone-sensitive cancers or you've had it and you don't want a reoccurrence, eating foods that mimic estrogen, even though it's a phytoestrogen, right? This can exacerbate an issue, right? And I work with a lot of folks who have a lot of excess fat. If we're trying to accelerate getting that off, tofu is not the best option for you, honestly. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, there are other things that we can eat. And so we just need to be a little bit more nuanced about that conversation. Like when we talk about the cancer population in particular, and soy, right? Mm-hmm. So now so for Asians in Asia, and I say in Asia because there's Asians in America eating the standard American diet, and so they are basically in the same pool as all the other Americans, right? But Asians in Asia eating their traditional diet, the way they eat it, as I mentioned, with the variety, small portions, right? They're also having seaweed. This matters, right? Because from what we understand about the benefits of soy in terms of cancer fighting, it's because of isoflavones, right? This is the cancer fighting compounds, right? There's 3 main types that have been heavily researched. There's a ton of them, but 3 main ones have been heavily researched. And I forget the name. One of them is called Digestion or something, and there's another one, and then there's equal. Not equal, like the sugar sweetener equal. Right. It's not that. It's like it's with an O, right? So, but equal doesn't come from the soy. It's made from the gut bacteria, right? So all of us, every human on the planet, we eat plant foods, right? And it has fiber, like we talked about. Our bodies cannot digest fiber. But the bugs, the bacteria digest the fiber. Mm-hmm. And then in digesting that fiber, it makes short chain fatty acids. The short chain fatty acids is very beneficial to us, our health, right? Mm-hmm. Now, with the Asian community in Asia eating a traditional Asian way, when they have fermented organic soy that has, right, the fermented organic soy, the bacteria in the gut is digesting that and makes this isoflavone called equal. The majority of that of Asians, even some here, if you have the ancestry, right, because our microbiome is predicated upon mom, because that's the foundation of our immune system, right? And the bacteria. So we come through the birth canal, we adopt mom's bacteria, and then we start to populate based on our environment, the foods that we're eating, all this kind of stuff. These folks here now, they have seaweed in their diet that they eat regularly, and their microbiome makes equal, which is the breast cancer fighting isoflavone, right? Mm-hmm. The most powerful out of all of them. And they're making it, and Europeans, like the majority, over 75% of Europeans don't make it. Mm-hmm. And it's safe to say that if you are West Indian like us, or come from West Indian background, you don't make it either, right? Because you know what I'm saying? We don't have that. Yeah. So it's not for us, it's not beneficial. This is why it's very helpful to look to your ancestral diet, when you're thinking about what foods are beneficial to you. The science is fine and fun, but we also need to question the science a little bit and dive deeper, especially when things are like, just question it. How did they run the study? What did they look at exactly? That type of thing. I don't know how we even got here, but but we got here, and I think the nuance is important.
Right, through the fast food and stuff, yeah.
Yes. So we were talking about the myth, right? So they did studies, and whole food vegan eating, you're actually eating whole foods as how it has come from the ground. You're not buying the processed stuff. You're not buying meats and things like this. This is the most affordable way to eat.
Right.
And so, Ma, you said basically you get your deals from Costco.
Costco, that's because take, for example, and I say it before, and I'm going to say it again because a lot of people are not aware of it. So I shop at a place here. I call it my emergency shop. Food Bazaar. It used to be Fairway. So it's now Food Bazaar. So I'll go there and I get a pound of salad for $9 and change. When I go to Costco, I get a pound of salad for $4 and change. So the 1 pound I buy at Food Bazaar, I get 2 pounds for the same price. So this is what I call, and to me, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
So I only use Bazaar for my emergency shopping. And if when I run out of salad, it's like you run out of when you run out of your main ingredients in your house. 'Cause that's what I always say. If no salad in the house, it's like there's nothing here to eat really, because that's my main ingredient. I have to have that salad before anything go down. The salad have to go down first, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Hmm.
the second tip to save money is to DIY everything and stop paying for convenience. You know, these folks, the young woman who said that she wants to save money, but she couldn't think of not eating out, so she's eating out 5 days a week, and she's getting from the kids menu.
You're not. She's saving something maybe in her pocket, in her head,
Yeah,
but her body is deteriorating because there's nothing going there to build the body back up.
yeah, and I just can't imagine being full off of that food. Like the one thing I hate is to eat, to just taste food, and you don't feel full. Now you just thinking about food like all day, because like you just opened up my palate. Now I'm hungry and there's nothing
Exactly.
else to eat, and
I
that
don't know
feels like
somebody.
torture.
I don't see anyone surviving. Not even a child can survive with a meal like that. No.
Yeah,
By the time, by the time you eat that and get home, you're hungry again. Or you just
yeah,
take it home and eat it and probably lay on your stomach because your stomach gonna hurt from hunger.
yeah,
But
and
let me tell you, discipline is one thing though. Nothing like a disciplined person. Because if you're disciplined, you wouldn't. I mean, she thinks she's doing the right thing, but no, it's
yeah.
not something that.
It really seems difficult.
It
I
it
know
is.
me personally, moving from LA to Florida, I have saved a lot of money. LA is like the vegan playground, or it was when I was there. Now a lot of these vegan restaurants have closed down. But
Mm,
there's just so much delicious vegan food to eat. Like, buffalo cauliflower. That's where I had buffalo cauliflower probably for the first time. I don't know if it was the first time or the first time by someone else. Delicious. I couldn't stop eating it. Um, but moving to Florida, there's nowhere to go. The one place that we had, I managed to try it once only, in the 4 years, or 4 years that we've been here, and they've now closed down.
right,
So there's even less options,
right.
but I find for me it's been a huge benefit to my wallet. Because I have to make everything from scratch. And
Mm,
I'm pretty sure it's healthier because all that vegan food, like just for example, the buffalo cauliflower, and I got that from Air One, which is like a health food store, and the priciest place in LA. Um, but the cuisine, I mean, it's delicious, right? So I'm not saying it's not worth the money. Okay, definitely if you're there, feel free. However, buffalo cauliflower, how do they get it to look like that and to taste like that? Yes, you put batter on it, you fry it, you put the sauce or whatever. What's in the sauce? Clearly, there's oil, there's high
mhm,
heat,
mhm.
so now we're getting into eating foods that, even though it's a vegetable, it's been very much manipulated to produce more advanced glycation end products. You get a very fun experience, exciting experience in your mouth.
Mhm.
Um, and at the same time, like having that on a regular basis in the body is not the best thing.
No.
So you just gotta, and I just, I understand, like, if you are um penny pinching so much where you're looking at the food budget, um I'm assuming that things are really, really difficult where, folks are doing like two jobs and this low income, and that's really tough, right? So it's like you really just have to do the best you can do given the resources you have in this moment, and understand that, the situation is temporary.
But for somebody who's struggling on a budget, though, eating out to me would be more expensive than bringing something home and prepare for your
Well,
family.
that's why they're doing the kids menu. you know, they spending $5 and they getting the kids menu.
Yeah, but do you know what $35 can do for the for
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, $35 can go a long way if you buy some you go to the green grocery and get stuff and put it together. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And
I'm
somebody will
usually when I go to Trader Joe's every week, it's like $35 or less that I'm picking up. I mean that's not the only place I shop, but that's basically where I get a good bulk of my produce. So that's my meal plan for the week.
well, I'm ashamed to tell you how much mine costs, but we won't go there. Okay. But
If
I'm
I were
picking
to
up
just because I know like when I order from Thrive, I order a lot of stuff for the house.
well,
You
that's dry
know,
good.
it's
Dry
yeah,
good.
it's like cleaning supplies, paper towels, toilet. So it's not really a food, you know,
Well, my
food
if
thing.
I trade a jar of whole food is twice what you pay, and yeah, it lasts for the week. And I get a lot of stuff that carry over for the next week. This is what I'm saying, like uh whole food might when I say whole food, not the store, but whole food, it can be very reasonable. You just have to choose where you go and shop for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I could get the same stuff from Sprouts. Sprouts produce is beautiful. I mean, the quality is magnifique, as if I was just walking to the farm myself. But yeah, you
But they're
pay even
expensive.
more. Yes, more than
I
Whole
remember
Foods.
because I went there with you guys.
Yeah, and those grapes, oh my goodness, I get like it was like the best grapes I ever had. It's like what is the how are they finding these farmers?
I think some of them things come from abroad though, so you have to check them.
No. Yeah,
No,
no.
no.
The produce is definitely
Yeah.
within the boundaries of America, you
Hope
know.
so, because without things going now, people gonna be screaming more with the prices of things. It's gonna get higher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
We should talk about eggs before we go into the final tip because
That's what I was saying.
it's egg gate
I
right
feel
now.
sorry for egg eaters.
yeah.
$25 a dozen.
People are
And
stealing eggs right now. It's just like it's an
no,
egg
sorry,
bonanza.
no, sorry, not 25. $15 a dozen. They have
15.
they having Lucy's now. Well,
Lucy's.
yeah, you can buy one egg.
the egg black market.
Well, I've had an egg in about 30 years, so it doesn't matter. And what I want to say about egg, like people who are vegans or vegans because vegetarian eat eggs, but
hmm
people who are vegans, they can teach you how to make things with flaxseed and chia seed like you never knew before.
hmm
You want to see a lovely cake made with chia seed or flaxseed? You don't miss egg.
Yeah, so that's what I want to ask you because I know you are a big baker, especially since the pandemic. You were doing a lot of banana nut breads, zucchini breads, and all this stuff, which typically when you're baking, it calls for eggs. So, how do you do this? How can folks get off of Egggate and find something more affordable and healthier?
Flaxseed and chia seed.
So specifically how cuz I have flax seeds, they don't have the consistency of eggs. So how exactly are you making it into eggs?
Okay, so what you do with the flaxseed, I have a coffee grinder. I don't like to buy the flaxseed. I don't like flaxseed meal. I'll buy it if I don't see the flaxseed, but I like to ground my own seeds because when you ground, you know exactly what you're grounding. When you buy something that says flaxseed meal, you're wondering, is it all flaxseed in there? Because that's me. I'm just curious about certain things. So I buy the seeds and I'll get the big pack of flaxseed at Costco. I think I'm trying to remember how much pound, but $13. I mean, it's reasonable, very reasonable. So I use my coffee grinder and grind it up, and you soak it. Like let's say you call for one egg. One egg is really a tablespoon of flaxseed. Let's say call for two eggs, so 2 tablespoons and 4 tablespoons of water. So you leave it to soak. You soak it for nothing less than 10 minutes. So by the time you're ready and you beat your flaxseed up,
Mm-hmm.
it come up just like egg, just like egg. Right.
And so it's a similar thing with chia, right?
Same thing. Same thing.
Huh.
I
Yeah,
don't
and I
use.
would think
I
flax
use
seeds
the
has to
crumb.
be more affordable than even chia, and definitely way more affordable than these eggs. So,
Oh no! Let me tell you, I said 30 years or probably more. I don't eat eggs. I don't mess with egg.
yeah, yeah. The Red Road East. Thank you so much for joining us. This person saying I get the bulk of mine from Trader Joe's, but I definitely spend more than $35 a week. Yeah, I think it matters where you live, right? So
Yeah, it
in New
does.
York, right? Because everything in New York is expensive, and
Very
so you have to be making more. So of course the grocery store is going to charge you more. But I'm in Central Florida. Folks aren't making that much. I believe the average median income for this area is $45,000. So I even in my communications with Publix, my local Publix, they're like they can't even sell organic produce unless they put it on sale. Nobody's buying. So it's like, which is a completely different culture than LA, where I just came from. People prefer organic because they understand what organic means. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
So Red Road E says I use flax seeds and chia seeds to replace eggs. Together it works for me to hold foods together like eggs do. Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
she says, yes, New York City is very expensive. He, she, they, the Road East. Thank you so much for joining us live and for engaging in the chat. Yes, New York City, it's a premium to live there and have the experience. I know some people who they just love it so much. I knew there was a point in my college career where I was like, this place is not gonna be it for me, even though that was my dream to live in Manhattan and have that be my whole adulthood, but it's not for me. But you love it, Ma.
New York is beautiful. You tell me another state more beautiful than New York.
All right,
New
we're
York.
gonna have another episode on state wars. Florida versus New York, but that's home to me anyway. So I would always rep New York wherever I go. But yes, who can afford to live there? Only the people who've been living there. Okay, so for the final tip, all right, the final tip: make luxury optional. Cut costs without sacrificing the taste. So for those of you, and I'm one of those people, obviously, I had a juice bar, we sold cold pressed organic juices, we sold, organic herbal supplements and stuff like this. If you are into it, right, you're into that healthy lifestyle and you like these types of things, these are the types of things you can actually get from Air One in LA, which I frequented when I lived there, gourmet meals and stuff like this. But they're not necessary for consistency. These are like fun experiences you do, right? You go get the organic cold pressed juice already made, and these like powders and things. Like I have maca, ashwagandha, and stuff like this that I use, moringa and things like this. But you actually don't need them. Like you can just actually eat foods. The maca, the ashwagandha, all these I call them like boosters, For me right now, my body feels like it needs some stress relief. So I'm using these things medicinally right now.
Yeah.
But on a day-to-day when you're not in like a chronic stress response where you need this kinds of stuff, or you're not having any vitality issues, like maca is really great for vitality. So I consider like libido to be one of the vital signs. I mean, I haven't heard too many doctors say that. I think Dr. Daniel Amen would agree with me in this, because libido is a natural thing that all adult human, like once you hit puberty, it's a natural, normal human thing, right? And when you don't have that, usually something is wrong. So I see it as a vital sign. Now, if you're having that, it could be even a cardiovascular issue, like with men, right? So the Red Road E says he's a he, right? So for men in particular, sometimes they're having certain issues. Sometimes it could be a cardiovascular thing. Maybe it's a hormonal thing. The maca is really helpful for that. But maca is also helpful for women as well. So I use these things, but they're not like my normal everyday. There's been years where I don't, like, I shouldn't say years. At least at some point in the year I'm using them. But months go by and I'm not using these things, right?
It's not
so,
every day.
Yes, and of course, gourmet meals. I mean, if I'm having a gourmet meal, I made it myself, So it's not really necessary for consistency, especially if you're busy, you're working so many jobs. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. You want simple, raw foods. I remember back in the day when I was working in commercial property management, Humana was one of our tenants, and there was a woman that worked there. And she had a drawer full of fruits. And that's what she ate during the workday. That was like her lunch and her snacks or whatnot. And I was like, wow, this is so healthy, She's the only person I've seen, do this in the workspace. And I think it's brilliant because fruits come with its own packaging. You don't have to worry about it being dirty or whatever. You throw an orange in there, it's already in its packaging, a banana. And you just rinse it, you peel it, you eat it, It's quick. It's like fast food, healthy fast food,
Right.
And it's not expensive, You have your fresh fruits, your leafy greens, basic seeds. I always make sure I have seeds on hand to make things, and all of this helps to improve mental health, accelerate excess fat release, right? We're not anti-big body. I mean, coming from a Caribbean background, we love big bodies, right? What they call a bumper, right? You want the big bumper, right? But not to the point where that fat becomes inflammatory and now you're in pain. Back is hurting, everything is hurting,
Knees are hurting, hips is hurting.
Because it's about quality of life, When Carnival come, it's nice to throw the big body around, but we don't want to be in pain year round, That's not fun. And then also we want hormonal balance. And so this is why the emphasis really needs to be on simplicity, fresh fruits, leafy greens, your nuts and seeds, especially your omega-3 fatty acids, right? Your walnuts, hemp seeds, chia seeds, things like this. Anything you want to add to that, Mom?
And don't leave out the almonds. That's very important.
Your favorite, almonds. You know what mine is though? I wouldn't necessarily call it my favorite nut, but I guess it should be my favorite nut. In terms of a taste perspective, almonds definitely hands down. Sprouted almonds in particular, not non-sprouted, but sprouted almonds, delicious just by themselves. But I love to crush pecans and add them to stuff because the crunch factor, the texture, I just think is perfect in raw vegan ice creams and like different dishes. I just like to add it, to different dishes.
Right.
Hi, Ross Celestine says, I have noticed that black raw vegans look better aging wise than whites. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's we're all different. And what you're really alluding to is melanin. So from a cellular perspective, the cells are literally getting more youthful when you consume more raw foods, right? Because it's producing the least amount of advanced glycation end products, and other things that are damaging to the cells that basically accelerate aging, you're not doing when you eat a raw food diet, right? On top of that, there's melanin, right? Folks who are highly melanated, right? So I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to look even younger than you, Ma, when I get to your age. because the melanin, I think that probably has...
I think I look wonderful.
Yes.
I'll be 73. I mean,
you know what? People have been accusing me of looking so young for so long that if I end up 70 something and I'm still hearing that I look like a college person, I'm going to be really upset. I really am. Honestly, I think I might throw something. I'm going to be upset.
Nobody get upset looking young though.
I will. Because it's been a pain. There's the other side. Not everything is great about some of these compliments. But anyway, the Red Road East says pecans, cashews, and macadamias are my favorite nuts. Awesome. Look at the variety. I mean, God is so good. He gave us so much variety. All these nuts, they taste very different, you know? So everybody could find something that they like. Cashews basically melt in your mouth when you eat it. You know, it tastes like cashew butter after just a few chomps, you know? To me, which is a really unique.
If you have an air fryer, you can get all those, crush them together, and you put some kind of sweetener in it, which you don't like to hear about the sweetener, but like you can put agave, or vegans don't do that, honey. And you crush them together and you put them in the air fryer. You get these little blocks of stuff.
Have you made that?
And it's delicious. The nuts, yeah.
Good for you, Ma. Look at you with your gourmet self. Look at you. I'm so proud. So you mean, but you're talking about the dehydrator though, not the air fryer.
Not the air. Did I say air fryer? Sorry.
Yeah, the dehydrator. So it's still raw. And so for those of you who aren't aware, raw means you haven't heated the food beyond 118 degrees. So the dehydrator allows you to pull out some of that moisture, and in the process it gets a little bit warm without killing the nutrients or the enzymes. And there's a local farm here actually that supplies to Whole Foods throughout the state where they make they crush up walnuts like you said, and they put maple syrup on it. But from a brain health perspective, I would highly recommend that if you're gonna do this and use a sweetener, that you stick to date syrup or yakin syrup.
Or you can also crush the date. Crush the date with the flax egg. Crush the date with the flax egg, and to hold it together, because the flax egg hold it together.
We'll make it. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because we had these conversations last year when I was doing a series of trainings around beat stress eating, right? Around and talking specifically about sugar. Date syrup versus granulated date sugar. So the granulated date sugar is still raw. It hasn't been cooked, right? Because it's just powdered dates. But the date syrup has been cooked. So it's technically not raw. And there's no fiber in the syrup, but there's fiber in the granulated date sugar. The problem is though, you cannot, it doesn't dissolve. Like you have some culinary needs for syrups. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that the granulated date sugar is just not going to be.
How about the dates itself? Because that's the one I'm talking about. The dates, medjool dates.
Medjool, yeah.
That's the one I'm talking about. To crush it up, you crush it up and you mix it with the flax egg.
I think it's worth a try.
This is what I get. Some of my dehydrating stuff.
You could put it more center, like in front of your face. Yeah, raw foods on a budget. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some very helpful hint in there for the dehydrator.
Yeah, they put a lot of work into that book because every recipe they break down the cost for each ingredient. The serving, I mean, that is work. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you can still find it in print on Amazon, then definitely that might be a helpful resource. Mm-hmm. So here's what I want all of you to do right now. We have 5 people watching live. Thank you so much. Wherever you're viewing, if you're on YouTube, on Facebook, thank you so much for joining live. If you are here live or even watching the replay, this is what I want you to do. Okay, if you are ready to finally make raw eating sustainable, whether it be raw or high raw, as we've been discussing, then I highly recommend you register for Raw for Lent. 40 days of raw inspiration. Lenten season is coming up, and I'm really excited. Like, I'm usually excited, but this year I'm even more excited about Lent.
And Lent is a good time for cleansing the body.
Yes.
So before Lent, if you want to really go raw, you can do your cleansing first and then you just jump on the bandwagon. It's a nice way to start out something fresh, you know?
Yeah. So this series in particular is a special series featuring some of the most popular raw food and health focused episodes that I've put together just for you. So every day when you sign up, you'll receive motivation and insights to help you stay on track and fully embrace the raw lifestyle. So sign up now. The link is in the description to this video. And let's make this year, this Lenten season, your most powerful, transformative one yet, right? We're looking for a healthy transformation. If you're one of those that we talked about earlier, where it's like, yes, I've been doing the $1 menu or the $5 menu, kids meals, you know, try something different, right? Let's try to improve our gut microbiomes and still be sensitive to the budget, right? Because we can do both. We don't have to sacrifice our health because of financial issues, right? As long as there's income coming in and there's money to pay for the food, because yes, you have to pay to eat in this country. You know, it's just the way it is, right?
So have your own vegetable garden, yeah.
Yeah, and then even with the vegetable garden, I mean, unless it's really mature, maybe you don't have to put any money in. I know my uncle in Florida, a little bit more south of here, has everything growing. But I don't know if it's enough for him to be self-sustaining completely. Is it? Does he have beans?
Yes, he does.
He has greens, he has fruits. I mean, I guess you could live off of coconuts. So
and banana.
Yeah.
The green bananas,
it's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have a mature garden, then definitely. But if you don't, then some money has to go into it. All right, so that's it for today's episode. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Subscribe to the channel. And when you hit the notification bell, every time we go live, you get a notice. And you also get notified when new videos are published to the channel. There's going to be a series of lives coming up. I can't tell too much. It's a big surprise. But there's a lot of fun things happening coming up, the Lenten season, and even before Lenten season, there's going to be a lot of fun things happening on the channel. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Share it with someone who you feel can really benefit from this information. And until next time, stay vibrant, stay committed, and just keep nourishing yourself in all the best ways possible. Okay? See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.